Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real World English. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake. It's great to be with you all today.
How are you doing today, Jake?
I'm doing really well, Emma. The weather is beautiful, and I'm excited about today's topic. How about you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. And yes, we have an important topic to discuss today. We're going to be talking about how to communicate effectively with your child's teacher at school.
Exactly. This is such a crucial skill for parents, especially those who might be learning English or are unfamiliar with the school system.
Let me start with a short story. Last week, my friend Maria was extremely nervous about meeting her daughter's teacher. She's from Brazil and has been in the country for only 6 months.
What was she worried about?
Well, she was concerned about her English skills, of course, but she was also unsure about what questions to ask, how formal to be, and whether she would understand everything the teacher said.
That's completely understandable. Parent-teacher meetings can be stressful even for native speakers. There's something about discussing your child's progress that makes many parents anxious.
Absolutely. So today, we're going to provide helpful phrases, explain key vocabulary, and even do some role-playing to help our listeners feel more confident.
Let's start with some essential phrases that parents can use when meeting their child's teacher.
Great idea. One of the most common questions parents ask is, "How is my child doing?" This is a simple but effective way to start the conversation.
Let's repeat that phrase slowly for our listeners. How is my child doing?
Another useful question is there any problem I should know about? This shows you're open to feedback, even if it might be challenging to hear.
Is there any problem I should know about?
And a very important question, how can we help at home? This demonstrates that you want to be involved in your child's education.
How can we help at home?
Now, let's talk about some important vocabulary that might come up during parent-teacher meetings.
First, let's discuss the word homework. This refers to assignments that students need to complete outside of school hours.
A teacher might say, "Your child hasn't been turning in their homework regularly." This means the student isn't submitting their assignments on time.
Another important term is behavior. This refers to how a student acts in class.
Right. A teacher might say, "Your child's behavior has been excellent," which is positive, or "We've had some concerns about your child's behavior," which indicates there might be issues to address.
The word grades refers to the marks or scores a student receives on tests, assignments, and overall performance.
A teacher might say, "Your child's grades have improved this semester," or "We need to work on improving your child's grades in mathematics."
Now, before we continue with more vocabulary and phrases, we'd like to take a moment to remind our listeners about our channel.
If you're finding this podcast helpful, please subscribe to the Real World English channel. Your support helps us create more content like this. Don't forget to like and share with friends who might benefit from these English lessons.
Thank you. Now, let's get back to our discussion about parent-teacher meetings.
Let's explore some cultural differences in school communication, as this can vary significantly across different countries.
In some cultures, parents may expect teachers to take complete authority over education, while in others, a more collaborative approach between parents and teachers is common.
Exactly. In some countries, questioning a teacher might be seen as disrespectful, while in others, it's expected that parents will actively participate and ask questions.
This is why understanding appropriate phrases and approaches can be so helpful. Let's now look at some grammar points related to asking questions politely.
When speaking with teachers, using polite forms of questions can make a big difference. Instead of saying, "Tell me about my child's reading," you could say, "Could you tell me about my child's reading skills?"
Or instead of, "I want to know why he got this grade," you might say, "I was wondering if you could explain this grade to me."
Adding phrases like, "I was wondering," "Could you possibly," or "Would you mind," makes your question sound more respectful and less demanding.
Now, let's do some role-playing to practice these phrases. I'll be the teacher and Emma will be the parent. Listen carefully and then we'll give you a chance to practice.
"Hello, Mr. Johnson. I'm Sarah's mother. How is Sarah doing in your class?"
Hello, Mrs. Lopez. It's nice to meet you. Sarah's doing quite well overall. She's very engaged during class discussions and has made friends easily.
That's good to hear. Is there any problem I should know about?
Well, I've noticed that Sarah sometimes struggles with turning in her homework on time. She's very capable, but organization seems to be a challenge for her.
I see. How can we help at home to improve this?
I would suggest creating a homework schedule together. Perhaps you could check her assignment notebook each evening to ensure she's keeping track of her responsibilities.
Now it's your turn to practice. We'll pause after each question to give you time to respond as if you were the parent. Ready?
Hello, I'm Mr. Johnson, your child's teacher. Thank you for coming in today.
Now you should say, "Hello, Mr. Johnson. How is my child doing in your class?" Go ahead and say it. Great. Now I'll respond as the teacher.
Your child is a pleasure to have in class. They participate well and get along with other students. However, I've noticed they sometimes have difficulty with reading comprehension.
Now ask, is there anything specific that my child is struggling with? Go ahead. Good job.
Yes, they seem to have trouble understanding the main ideas in longer texts. Their vocabulary is good, but connecting ideas across paragraphs can be challenging for them.
Now ask, how can we help at home to improve this? Try it now. Excellent.
I'd recommend reading together for 20 minutes each evening. Ask your child questions about what they've read, like, what do you think will happen next? Or why do you think the character made that choice? This will help develop their comprehension skills.
Very good. Now let's discuss some additional phrases that might be useful.
When discussing your child's social development, you might ask, how does your child get along with others?
Or if you're concerned about a specific subject, you could ask, which subjects does my child excel in and which ones need improvement?
Another important question might be, is my child participating in class discussions?
And if your child has mentioned problems at school, my child mentioned having some difficulties with specific issue. Could you tell me more about that?
These questions show you're engaged and interested in various aspects of your child's school experience.
Now, what about if the teacher uses terminology you don't understand? It's perfectly acceptable to ask for clarification.
Absolutely. You could say, I'm not familiar with that term. Could you explain what it means?
Or, could you give me an example of what you mean by that?
Remember, teachers want to communicate effectively with parents. They'll appreciate your efforts to understand, even if you need to ask for clarification.
That's right. And now, as we're approaching the end of our podcast, let's give our listeners a homework assignment to practice what they've learned today.
Your homework is to prepare 3 specific questions you would ask your child's teacher at a parent-teacher meeting.
Think about your child's education and what aspects you'd like to know more about. Is it their academic progress, social development, behavior, or something else?
Write down these questions using the polite forms we discussed today.
For example, instead of, tell me about math class, try, could you tell me how my child is progressing in mathematics?
Remember to use phrases like, I was wondering, could you please, or would you mind explaining, to make your questions more polite and respectful.
To summarize what we've covered today, we've discussed useful phrases for parent-teacher meetings, explained key vocabulary like homework, behavior, and grades, and practiced through role-playing.
We've also talked about cultural differences in school communication and grammar points for asking questions politely.
We hope this helps you feel more confident when communicating with your child's teacher.
Remember, teachers and parents share the same goal, helping children succeed in their education and development.
Thank you so much for listening to Real World English today. We hope you'll join us for our next episode where we'll be discussing how to navigate healthcare conversations in English.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this episode, and share it with friends who might find it helpful. Your support means a lot to us.
Until next time, keep practicing your English. Goodbye.
Goodbye, everyone.